Alright guys, welcome back to Infamous Builds again. Got another quick little short video for you. This time you guys probably just watched the history behind this car, so now we're going to tell you a few things, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and just some more feature plans that I have for my car. So I guess really to start off, things that, we'll start off with the negatives. Things we don't really like about it. It's got 200 horsepower. That's pretty much it. It's got 200 horsepower. It's not fast in a straight line.
Yeah, like everybody says, it's very much lacking in power, but it's made up in other ways.
Yeah, where it makes up for power, or where it lacks in power, it makes up for it in its handling abilities on the corners. What else do I really don't like about it? It's a Subaru, so it's going to have its Subaru problems down the road. Knock on wood, wherever it is. I don't have any of those issues yet, but it's always a possibility. I guess things that we like about these: very fuel efficient because it's 4-cylinder going 200 horsepower. Handles like a dream, even on, it's on winter tires right now. I just neglected putting on the summers yet, but even on winter tires, this thing handles like a complete dream around corners, just like you expect it to. The car is predictable, it's just lightweight, and it's pretty much just like a giant go-kart. What do you like about these? Come in the picture.
So I guess kind of what I like about these is that, like you said, they handle like a dream, they get great mileage, they're a great daily driver other than it being a two-door coupe and not a lot of storage space. It's a lot more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. So you can push this thing to the limit and nobody will really know that much, to be honest. It's got somewhat of an exhaust on it, so you can sort of hear it, but it's not like it's straight piped or something.
Yeah,
so
it's not crazy loud yet.
Yeah, you can go by a cop and it'll be fairly unassuming, I would say. It's still a sports car, a low-slung sports car, but it's pretty unassuming, and you can really push the car to its full potential, and that's what's kind of driving me to potentially buy one in the future here, is that it make a great track car. I really want a track car that I can push, or I really want to either LS or JZ swap one maybe. We'll see if we get there, but I really want to get one off of an insurance auction with a clean title that I can still daily drive, stuff like that, because my truck here gets garbage mileage, even though it's very unique, being a regular cab short bed V8 4-wheel drive, basically everything you want. But it's a great truck, but I want something that I can play around with a little bit more. And the Corvettes, I definitely would not daily drive either one of the Corvettes. They're fun and they're semi-comfortable. It's just,
those are a lot more hard to come by than these. These are everywhere. Yeah, sort of. And parts are a hell of a lot cheaper for this than a Corvette, and maintenance is, both of them are really reliable, to be honest, but like a clutch job is gonna take quite a bit. You have to drop the torque tube, the transmission, everything, rear diff basically on the Corvette to get to the transmission. And the clutch is a maintenance item eventually, but yeah, that's kind of why I want to get one of these, something I don't have to care about as much, especially like getting one off of an auction for dirt cheap. That's a huge bonus, being cheap and reliable and cheap on gas. That's some of the huge things with it. They're super light. They've got tons of potential as a chassis. Yeah, these are some of the most modded chassis of a modern car.
Yeah, tons of parts availability, and like a donor car, if you were to really mess your car up and you wanted to keep your car, it wouldn't be all that expensive. And yeah, that's kind of why I would want to get one. And kind of what drove Jonah to get one, because he really wanted a V8 car. He was looking at V8 Chargers and Scat Packs sort of for a while, but
just the reliability and ease of maintenance and so much cheaper on gas is why I just ended up going with this and not something with a V8 instead.
Yeah, and we don't have big families of our own or anything like that, so we don't need a four-door car with a ton of room. We're not really, I've got my truck, and so that's not a huge issue either. Sorry, there's a dump truck that's about to drive by, but just trying to think of other reasons. It's small and practical for Jonah and I. Like, we don't need a lot, and it's kind of a great car all around, because you can really push it and really have a lot of fun with it, and it's not all that expensive. So that's really some of the great selling points about it. Just trying to think, is there anything else?
Yeah, well, one of the jokes that everyone in the car community, you guys probably know it too with these, is, oh yeah, you're absolutely pushing the car, but you're still not at 60 miles an hour yet. So I don't want to say it's not a lot harder to get in trouble, because you still obviously can. You be safe on the roads and all that, but if him and I were driving side by side and we both put it on the floor, he'd be fucking gone by the time I'm just hitting 60. He'd probably be at like 120 by then. So it's
a whole different dynamic of driving, though, the Corvette versus this. The Corvette, you have to lay off of it and throttle or in the corners, and with this you can just kind of fling it around and not really care. Especially with some better tires on it, you can basically put the pedal to the metal in some hairpins, and it'll take it. The stock Prius tires that comes with are great for economy, but not necessarily handling. But they're not awful either, so you can push it pretty far on those tires. But
definitely a tire upgrade it does the most for these is the tire upgrade. So that was, I had to wait a while to get some tires to save up some money, but I ended up getting some really nice summer tires that I haven't really had any complaints about. They're I don't even remember the brand off the top of my head, but for how cheap they were very good tires, and it made this car feel like it's supposed to. If you don't have anything else to talk about, we can go on some things that I plan on doing to the car in the future, or what I've already done if you guys are new to the channel. So, if you guys are new, this car, when we got it, it was pretty much bone stock, except it had an intake pipe from the previous owner. So when we got it, it had a Cusco Kooky intake pipe on it. So when we got it, that was all done. And now, pretty much, I sold all the parts for the BMW that I could, like the wheels and tires I had for it, because that was probably the most expensive thing that was on the car. So we sold that, and I pretty much turned around and spent that money into a Borla unequal length header to give it more of that boxer sound. I bought a Grip Speed brake brace to try and stiffen up that brake pedal a little bit, because these things are notorious for firewall flexing. And the latest upgrade, which we didn't really film because it was kind of I wouldn't really say it was a pain. It was just... I
think we attempted to film a little bit of it. It just didn't turn out well, because we were under the car and swearing most of the time.
It was not fun.
We had some issues with rusty bolts. Speaking of, that's another thing we really aren't a fan of, is how fast the hardware gets rusty. The body on this thing doesn't... It holds up really well, but oh my gosh, the hardware, it gets rusty so fast. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, if we pop the hood, you'd probably see about like 20 rusted bolts under there. It doesn't help that it was over in Connecticut for...
Yeah, I'm not
4 years of its life or whatever.
Yeah, but like the hardware holding the heat shielding together over the header.
Yeah, that was all crusted together.
You could flick those things and they would disintegrate pretty much. There was nothing left of the bolts or nuts. So yeah, that was a whole other experience in itself trying to get those off. But yeah, just some other things that you think about doing. You're probably going to end up doing maybe coilovers eventually in the future, and maybe...
Yeah, I mean, probably the next biggest thing I'm going to do is finish out the rest of the exhaust, because like I said, so far I have the Borla header on there, I have the JDL dual resonated front pipe, so my car is completely catless, but I don't have a tune for it yet. That is coming down later on the road. I don't have a huge issue with the check engine light or anything like lots of people do, but next biggest thing is finishing off the exhaust. I'm thinking an MXP Comp RS axle back. That's probably where I'm going to end up going. After that, probably finally tune it, get rid of that check engine light, squeak out a little bit more horsepower, and just have tuning capability for the future, like far into the future. Probably after that, that's when I'll be mostly satisfied with engine upgrades, so I'll probably go body stuff after that. So
wheels and tires,
taillights, coilovers. I like the stock headlights honestly, but the stock taillights I'm definitely going to want to swap to something else in the future. That's higher up on my list compared to all the wheels and tires and all that. But anyway, we got a bunch of plans for this car in the future, and we're going to try and film more of that when that comes around, just for you guys, so you guys can see and you guys have some stuff to watch. But this car will bring plenty of content for you guys to see in the future, along with all the other cars on the channel and more cars to come, because he's buying cars every day, it seems like. So yeah, he's checking on one right now back there. But if you guys enjoyed this video, just go ahead, drop a thumbs up, comment on it, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.